Okay, welcome to the What's So Sustainability podcast, episode 5, produced in collaboration with Singapore Polytechnic School of Business, Sustainable Finance Institute of Asia, and I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm Stephanie, Collaborations and Coalitions Senior Associate from Sustainable Finance Institute Asia. Today we'll be diving into the realm of technology in relation to ESG, more particularly ESG data.
And we are very honored to have a special guest on this episode, Mr. Benjamin Soh, Managing Director of STACS, which is Asia's leading ESG data and technology company headquartered in Singapore. Welcome to Singapore Polytechnic and this episode.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Stephanie, for having me.
First and foremost, Benjamin, we would like to get to know you better. Could you please introduce yourself, education and career background, as well as your role and what you are currently doing at STACS?
Sure. I am the founder and managing director of STACS, which also means that I do a little bit of everything. So I graduated from accountancy, just like a school of business, but in NTU. And actually I started this business straight out of school. So actually straight out of accounting degree, I actually went into business. So decided to apply everything that I learned in the School of Business into the real world and founded a company back in 2008. So that was a fintech company. It was in the business of providing financial trading platform, electronic trading platform technologies. So that was a time where there wasn't such technology or much technology available at all. I don't know whether you remember it. It's definitely too young to remember. But that was a time where you had to place an order through a phone. And then you receive a confirmation in the mail 2 days later. So at a time where you could buy clothes online, but you couldn't place a trade online. So that was the thinking behind how we started this business of providing electronic trading.
I see. And thank you very much for the introduction. I'm sure your experiences that you shared today will be very beneficial for our listeners out there. Now, so in this episode, we will be talking about the intersections of a few things, namely sustainability, technology, and finance. And we are looking at uncovering these 3 aspects which are shaping our financial landscape, supporting the journey towards sustainability, of course. And we know that in a few recent years, green tech has taken off. So, for a start, Stephanie, may I ask, what are the innovative green technologies being developed in Singapore that contribute to better ESG outcomes?
So on a broad scale, Singapore is developing several innovative green technologies. Examples include the use of smart grids and renewable energy technologies to improve energy efficiency and reduce carbon emissions, as well as investments in urban farming and vertical agriculture to enhance food security while minimizing environmental impact.
I see. So, I'd like to ask, how about from the perspective of you generate ESG data, and more specifically, how is Singapore leveraging the green technology to improve data collection and reporting?
Singapore is definitely in the forefront of this. We are a smart nation, and the Smart Nation initiative promotes the integration of digital technology in urban management, enabling better data collection and analysis. The development of IoT devices and smart sensors that monitor environmental metrics also aid the collection of accurate data to help companies track ESG performance.
I see. So, may I ask, Benjamin, out of curiosity, you spoke about STACS and all that. So, can I ask, what inspired the incorporation of STACS back in 2019? And was there a gap, in the market that needed to be filled with this platform?
Yeah, sure. So I founded STACS in 2019 after I left my previous company in 2017, the electronic trading platform business. So I left that because it was becoming common, that was becoming already a mature product. I like to say that, we were one of the earlier pioneers who brought electronic trading to the world and became such commonplace today. So, but of course, at that time, seeking something else to do, I was hoping to do more in the financial space in the form of technology. So in 2019, we started STACS. Initially, it was just having the general intention of serving the financial sector in digitalization. So instead of just executing a trade, which was my previous business, I was hoping that we could go a little bit deeper, could be able to find something meaningful to use technology to enhance the financial sector. And then actually very soon, after founding a company in 2019, it was very clear, that the biggest pain point that the financial sector was facing was the lack of digital data in ESG and sustainability. So we started to put all our efforts together starting from 2020, to try to produce certain solutions that could be able to solve this problem.
Wow, that is fascinating. So just a follow-up question. Can you give us a quick overview, right, of what STACS really does, and then what are the key services it provides in the fintech as well as the sustainable space?
So STACS is actually more well known outside, for our platform called ESGpedia.
Yes.
Yeah, because ESGpedia sounds like a Wikipedia. So that's actually where we try to build a end-to-end digital data platform focusing on sustainability. So what do we actually do? We support companies in the full spectrum of sustainability, starting from the creation and reporting of the ESG data. So that will include digital tools like the GSG calculator, ESG reporting module, and data management of entire supply chain and portfolios of enterprises. And as it relates to finance, right, when we are able to therefore produce such reliable ESG data sets, sustainable finance products can then be built and created by the financial institutions on top of it. So we're quite happy to share that actually we have been supporting several such, sustainable finance deals in the market today.
I see. That is great. So I think that this ESG data, right, as you have mentioned, is still rather new, and there's bound to be certain challenges as what we understand about, say, data fragmentation, as well as trying to standardize certain amount of data. So how does your platform really address these challenges? Especially, right now there's the trend of ESG reporting.
You're right, right, there's so many standards out there, so many countries with different requirements. So, different standards, different frameworks in different countries, which means that ESGpedia should aim to be a international travel adapter. When we are just in Asia, Southeast Asia, when I was in Thailand, or when I was in Indonesia, and of course here in Singapore, we have 3 different countries with 3 different, sockets. So same thing in ESG reporting. There are many different types of standards out there.
Yes.
So what we seek to do is to provide, the ability through our platform to transform the data, underlying ESG data, into the various standards required. And the good news is fundamentally, a lot of this ESG data is actually operational by nature. Operational data by nature. For example, if we talk about greenhouse gas emissions or carbon, right? These are typically built based on your energy, fuel consumption, your operational, matrices, or your purchases of goods and services. And if you talk about other components like S&G, ESG, right? So you talk about social and governance. Those are usually your hiring matrices, your workforce makeup, and of course your governance, board of directors, policies, etc. So I think those are ready inputs. They are somewhere out there that every company has. What if we can bring them all together? Have a one-time input of such operational data that every company has, and then be able to convert it to the many different standards out there as and where you need it. For you to be able to navigate the different countries.
I see. I really love the analogy of the travel adapter. That's really innovative. Since you say that you have been working with different companies and trying to accommodate to the international standards, right? What are some exciting projects or partnerships that STACS is currently involved in, particularly in the realm of sustainable finance?
Absolutely. So I think partnerships make the value bigger for our clients. So in Singapore, we have partnerships with several banks. So all the local banks that we are partnering with are able to now provide sustainable finance at preferential interest rates. And this is based on the data that's really housed in the platform. Besides that, we are also officially a Advanced Digital Solution, ADS, under the IMDA scheme. Okay, so this is actually a scheme whereby the IMDA actually allows for attractive grant support for clients, companies who are able to adopt these solutions because part of going digital, okay, to be able to enhance their sustainability processes. So this actually provides a lot of incentive for companies to get started. Okay, and beyond Singapore, regionally we also partner with the Sustainable Finance Institute Asia (SFIA), okay, whereby we are partnering on the single access point for ESG data, also known as SAFE, okay, platform. So SFIA is of course famous for delivering the ASEAN taxonomy to the world, okay, and they are well positioned in the finance sector regionally. So this partnership will hopefully help us to be able to scale up and drive more adoption and serve the sustainable finance sector in Asia quicker.
I see. And that is really very amazing. To talk about the role that STACS play. Then of course we should be looking at some of the emerging trends as well in fintech as well as sustainable finance sectors. We also like to find out how is STACS positioning itself in these areas.
Yeah. So we see more and more emphasis from the financial sector on ESG data availability, comparability, and analytics. Okay, so tackling them means that we need more digital solutions. Okay, which is firstly to provide more of this data, because we talk about availability. While a lot of data is actually fragmented, at least they are out there. So digitalization or platforms like ours can actually help to compile all of them through a digital workflow, streamline them, and make it more available. Okay, therefore sorry for availability, and then going to the next step, comparable. So comparable amongst other companies. Okay, so that a financial services firm like a bank, they will be able to go and compare different clients in the same sector. And lastly, analytics. We are also hoping to expand the solution to provide more analytics, because with this analytics comes along visualization and scenario analysis. So that will be able to help the financial institutions make better decisions, okay, in terms of financing their clients. It also help the clients to be able to manage their own roadmap better.
I really understand a lot more about ESG data availability, comparability, analytics, because it really helps to make life easier for your clients as well. So maybe a follow-up question is, what are the next milestones or goals for STACS, and how do you envision this platform evolving over the next few years with all these trends that you've mentioned?
Yeah, at ESGpedia, we hope that we are able to serve more than 100 large enterprises by the end of next year, by the end of 2025. Okay, so these large enterprises should therefore have, besides themselves, their supply chain, or if in the financial sector, their financial portfolios. So, each one of them will easily have thousands, if not more, of such suppliers or financial services portfolio, which means that if we serve 100 of them by the end of next year, we are really hoping to serve between anywhere from 100,000 to 1 million of such companies. Yeah, and so, we want to be able to accomplish this, and we want to focus on Asia, because Asia is the supply chain to the rest of the world, right? So a lot of action starts in Asia, and Asia is also where we need more solutions, by the nature of our fragmented countries. So I think we have focused on Asia. We have developed our platform to be able to use hyper-localized emission factors, which means that the calculation for a factory in Malaysia, for the same kilowatt per hour will be different from a factory in Singapore, just because we are using local emission factors. And not only that, we also have the full end-to-end translation of platform into languages like, besides English and Chinese, we have Thai, Vietnamese, and Bahasa. Yeah. And of course, we will continue to evolve the platform. As we mentioned just now, we wanted to enhance not just the data availability, but hopefully also, the scenario analytics, the visualization, so that users not only get data, but also they are able to get, proper guidance and maybe make better decisions based on the data.
I see. Okay, and of course, I think the most important thing, right, as we are polytechnic and education. Are there any words of advice you'd like to give to our students as well as young professionals who are interested in pursuing further careers in the area of technology, finance, as well as sustainability?
I think I can go first.
Yes.
So for ESG digital data and the fintech space is still a rather new concept and things are evolving very quickly. It's important to keep abreast on the latest developments such as the platform that Benjamin is heading, and I encourage students to follow leaders in this space on LinkedIn or attend webinars on conferences related to sustainability, sustainable finance, technology. If you're particularly interested in data analytics, you can also strengthen your skills in ESG software, and I think it will be very beneficial. And of course, one needs to be willing to learn, seek internships and experiences through related initiatives.
Totally agree. And you know, Ryan mentioned sustainability, technology, and finance, and I like to say that this is the sweet spot in between all three of it. You know why I say that? Because sustainability is more than just a mega trend. It will become a new normal. Yeah, you know, all the countries in the region are implementing mandatory sustainability reporting guidelines, which means that, you know, it will become a standard that all companies must follow. And, you know, but in a short period of time, when all of this becomes mandatory, the only way to allow many companies to do it at the same time is through technology. Yeah, so, you know, to be able to enable sustainability, you need technology because we are running against the clock. Right? There is a deadline, there are targets that we need to meet by 2030 and 2050. So the technology, using technology is the only way to scale up, okay, the ability of companies to meet these targets. And finance is the lubricant of all of this, because finance provides the funding required for such, you know, spending, if there is some spending on such projects, for example. So in other words, if you are really in the, you know, intersection of technology, sustainability and finance, I think it's really super exciting, and, you know, I'm so happy that I wake up every day that I'm, you know, crowded by these topics. Which also brings me to my next point. You know, another thing to remember is that you need to have passion in this. Okay, because after all, we're still in the early stages of, you know, sustainability. Yeah, it's still not considered common today. Okay, when I graduated, there wasn't this, you know, diploma or degree in sustainability. There wasn't anything, you know, in the schools. Right, so there's still a lot of work to be done. So I'm very happy that, you know, we're having this conversation in SP, because it shows that there's some focus on this in the schools today. Yeah, so a lot of work to be done. But in the meantime, this passion, you know, you need to have passion to allow you to continue to find more ideas through the adjacent possibilities. As Stephanie mentioned, you know, through your network, through other friends, okay, find like-minded people, okay, and build this strong network that will help you in your career.
Yes, I agree, and thank you, Benjamin, for sharing more about the importance of technology and digital ESG data, as well as introducing STACS. And I'm humbled and definitely learned a lot from this conversation as well. And I'm sure the same for our listeners who are especially interested in the area of technology.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And that is all we have for today. In our next episode, we will be touching on the last topic of sustainable finance. And of course, there will be a guest too to share insights with all of us. So stay tuned for our next episode of What's So Sustainability. And until next time, remember to invest in a sustainable tomorrow.